Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Justin Wolfe from Wolfe Customs.
And I'm Larry Roberts. Both Justin and myself pride ourselves in bringing only the best outdoor videos,
where we show only the reality of the situation, none of the staged drama.
So if you want to see what the popular TV shows didn't show, then stay with us and we'll show you the skills and knowledge needed.
We'll show our success and our failures. In many cases, these are things that we've never done ourselves, and we're going to be learning right alongside you.
But what we won't show is the made-up drama, only put in for ratings.
What we're going to do today is something that I see on reality shows and hear in blogs and everything else all the time. And that's people talking about fishing using paracord. Okay? Cordage is something that you better have with you all the time because it's one of the, it's not necessarily hard to manufacture in the wild, but to get it good and strong is another, you know, that's you can, but why not just carry paracord or bank line, right? Simple, easy. What we're going to do is most of the time I have with me ferro rod on a paracord lanyard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that I need to use that to make fishing line. Then I'm going to make a fishing hook, get some bait, we're going to throw that out in the pond, and we're going to see if we can catch something on that paracord. We're going to pretend that my necklace, I'm going to pretend that I take it off and I cut it down to make that fishing line. We're going to remove those 7 individual strands out of there. Now, in all reality, if I was to take this necklace apart, it's probably somewhere around 3 or 4 foot long, so that's exactly what we're going to cut off of this paracord. But before I do that, I'm going to show you guys with larger line how I'm going to splice my line together. You guys have seen me do this in, you know, past videos and everything else, but we're going to show it again. What we're going to do is we're going to take one end of our paracord, okay, put a loop in it, and with the other end we're going to come up through the loop, around it, and back through our loop so it splices it together. So one more time, this end here, we're going to come up through this loop and wrap it around. Now as we wrap it around, you can see that if we do this, it creates a secondary loop. So as we come around, we're going to go through the second loop that was created, not the original, and then we're going to pull them tight. Just like that. That cinches them down very tight. This is a way to really cinch your cordage down. But getting them back apart is actually not that difficult. So that's what we're going to use when we remove these 7 strands. Is I'm just going to cut this other end right here, and then these inner strands right here I'm going to remove. So if I have 3 foot of paracord, then in essence I have 21 feet of fishing line, right? Working with this little paracord is, these little strands is kind of a pain in the butt. You know, it never ceases to amaze me that when we just sit down and we're quiet, just enjoying nature, the things that happen to us. You see this branch right here? I can reach out and I can grab this branch, right? No more than 10 seconds ago there was a squirrel sitting on this branch right above my head. I'd have gave anything to have the camera going. Well, it wouldn't have mattered because I wouldn't have been able to get him anyway, because he would have seen me and taken off. But he come down the tree, came right here. Squirrels are dumb. He had no clue that I was sitting here. Amazes me. I could have reached up and grabbed that squirrel. Okay, so we're going to pretend that this spindle that I have here, I keep in my haversack, is our hook. And we're going to use the shell of our paracord to simulate our line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around just like this on the right side. Then I'm going to come over to the left side, pull a little bit more. So I'm going to wrap it around on my right side, cross over to the left side, come back around, and then I'm going to pass my line right through here. Tighten this down, wiggle it, okay, till it binds. Now it's bound. Really nice. So I'm just going to come through and I'm going to put a half hitch right there. Pull. And that is not going anywhere now. So that's what I'm going to do for my hook. Now keep in mind also I'm going to cut a little groove around here so that my line sits down into the hook. Okay, so what I'm doing now is this is the spindle I'm going to actually use to wind my cord up on. Okay, now what I just showed you guys with how I'm going to set my hook by wrapping this around, then crossing over, coming up through, cinching it down, then putting a half hitch in it. That works perfectly fine for this shell of this paracord, but as what I found is the moment I tried to do that with the inner strands, after I put the half hitch in it, it'd still pull out. Okay, it never really would cinch down. So I had to put 2 half hitches in it. So after I put a second half hitch in it, it doesn't pull out now. So now I'm just going to take and I'm going to wind this up around here to keep it from tangling. And one of my other knots just came out. This inner strand stuff is proven to be a little bit difficult, guys. I'm going to practice with this stuff a little bit more because it slips knots. So I might have to change up my tactic with what knots I use and everything else. But that is why we're doing this video. Because that's the real reality of my position right now. Okay, got all that wound up. Now I'm going to go make a hook, and I'm also going to, I say hook, it's not actually going to be a hook, but and then I'm also going to get a rock of some sort to use as a sinker. Okay, I don't think it's going to be ultra necessary that I get real creative with wrapping my stone, but I don't know. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it using pretty much the same method that we used with or what we're going to use with our hook. Let's see what we can do here. guarantee there's a way better way of lashing a stone to your line, but I don't know it. That's where you guys come into play. You guys chime in and tell me. And then I know when it counts. I'm going to try to cinch my line down into the natural gouges of the stone though, so that I know that it will stay put when I really cinch it down. I think that's going to work just fine. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. So the last thing to do is to make a hook and get some bait. Okay, we're going to try that right there. That might still be a little too long. I don't know. Find out. Okay, try that. Lash that thing up how I showed you. And I won't bore you guys with trying to find an earthworm. I'll find it and we'll come back. Well, I've often heard people say that you can always find bait and everything else. And I'm sure if I keep searching and everything else, I could probably find a worm. But, you know, I've been digging around for 45 minutes and I haven't found a single worm. It's been dry this year, and so they're deep. You know, there's the grasshoppers haven't really came out yet. Finding bait right now is kind of difficult in the location that I'm at. You know, if I was at the river, that'd be a different story. I could find something. But where I'm at right now, I'm not finding much. I don't want to give up on the video, so what I went and did is I went to the house. I got a hot dog with cheddar. We're going to tear off sections of this and put it on the hook. See what we can do. So obviously I would have liked to have found a worm and everything else, but you know, that is the true reality of the situation. I don't have a production crew to supply me with a worm when I need it and I can't find it. So if I couldn't find bait, I'd be in trouble. But like I said, I didn't want the video to end, so I went in the house and cheated. Anyway, I'm gonna have to walk away and let this sit for a while because as you can hear and see, the dog is going to constantly be in the water unless I walk away. So we're going to walk away, let this line sit for a while, come back and check it. So far I've had my line out in the water a couple times, and each time something's got my bait. Haven't caught anything. One of the main reasons I was wanting a worm is because I could feed the worm on there in a tubular fashion, so that way it'd be harder for smaller fish to pick the bait off of the hook. But, like I said, it is what it is. Couldn't find a worm, so this is what we used. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to call it quits. Had the line out 3 different times, and 3 different times the bait has been picked off. I suspect that it's turtles, because there's just a lot of turtles out here swimming around and everything else. But that's the reality of the situation. Number 1, I didn't find bait. Number 2, bait was taken off my hook. So if I had to rely on this, I'd be going hungry tonight. Definitely invest in a good pocket fishing kit for sure, guys. The other part is the hook itself. You know, I mean, did I make it too big? Maybe. Don't know. It's something I'm gonna have to work on and something I'm gonna have to practice. But you know, when you see shows that show someone making something like this, they throw it out and a commercial break later they've got a fish. That's not real. That's not real life. That's staged drama. So this is reality, and reality is I couldn't find bait, number 1, and reality number 2 is when I finally put something on the hook, it got taken off and I didn't catch anything. So anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed the very first episode of Clothed and Completely Unafraid. There's going to be a lot of these coming up, so stay tuned.